All right, what's up, everybody? We are on episode 37, the final one, the finale of Death Note, which is called New World. I gotta say, in advance, I'd prepared, like, okay, for the intro for this last episode, I'm gonna do a huge discussion to kind of reflect on, like, what the show has been like and my experience watching it, of course, and then, yeah, gearing up to watch the last one here. But I gotta say, just coming off of episode 36, my heart is pumping right now. Literally, like, that episode was the most tense episode ever. Really, it was crazy. And right now, I'm just not in a right state of mind, I would say, to be doing that yet. So I feel like I'm just gonna save my end talk really for like the review part then of this episode. So you're gonna see it after my reaction. And for now, I really just wanna dive in. So of course, let me quickly set the stage. What happened in the last episode and the situation we ended on is that Light very much thinks that he's won. And it all makes sense. I mean, he explained his plan, but I already myself had very much caught on to it, where, you know, his plan all along was for Nia to get access to this fake notebook by not realizing in the process, of course, that it is actually fake. Nia thought that, like, oh, he could replace some pages, and so Teru would now be writing all these names down on the fake pages, and so nobody would actually get killed. But in the process, they would be able to find out who Kira was. Very smart as well, because Kira's name would be the only one not written there. So well thought out by Nia, but he just missed that one crucial step of, like, not realizing that this is not the actual notebook whose pages he replaced. And Light does know that. But here's the thing: we're having this huge. I mean, literally, they just counted down to the end of the episode there. I can't believe that's what they did. And so they're not showing us yet what actually happened in the moment. And I'm expecting, seeing as, you know, like, I expect we won't see all these characters suddenly die here immediately at the start of the episode, but I could be entirely wrong. I'm expecting that the outcome will still not be what Light had foreseen. And so the only thing that I can then think of is that Nia will now reveal that he did know that it was the fake notebook all along. And I mean, we never saw that, though. That's the thing. So it would come kind of out of nowhere. I mean, he could explain that away and it would probably make sense, right? The show always does that, where it just brings up something you would never consider and then makes it make sense, essentially. So I could see that, don't get me wrong. But yeah, what happens then, right? Is Light gonna suddenly have to come up with some last resort quick method to, like, deal with the situation here, or is he about to be exposed, detained, and what the hell is going to happen, right? What is going to be the new world that we're gonna be leaving the show on? Is the new world still gonna be Light continuing his killings? Is the new world going to be a world where Kira is no longer existing and the notebook will no longer be used and society can return to normal, basically? Are we gonna see still this? It's definitely what I wonder about. Like, are we gonna see, I mean, again, it would be just a quick glimpse, a couple minutes, I guess, at the very end, but, like, are we gonna see Light in the Shinigami realm after he has died somehow? Who's gonna be joining him there? Are we gonna see other characters? Maybe, like, Ryuk is still, I want to see a little bit more of Ryuk, like a last... That's the thing. We just have so many characters to have their storylines still wrapped up, right? Misa as well, who they left behind, and I assume Misa is definitely, with the way that they left her. She's the only character that's in for, like, a good ending, I think, where she's off the hook and she'll be fine. She'll have to stay there in that hotel for a while, and then she can get out, and of course doesn't remember anything in the first place anymore. Anyway. But yeah, Misa would deserve that, I feel, because she was always kind of... I don't know. I mean, again, she was just too infatuated with Light. That was her... that was why she did everything that she did. But it wasn't because she necessarily had this greater sense of killing, I think, the way Light does, and, playing God and stuff. So... I don't know, man. Guys, I have so many thoughts racing through my mind, but we really should just get into this last episode of Death Note, and that is exactly what we're going to do. For now, I want to thank you all for having joined me on the journey. Of course, let me quickly point out that we're still watching a bunch of other shows on the channel, so go and check all those reactions out, subscribe to it and stuff. But as far as Death Note goes, it has been an amazing ride, and I can't wait to see how it wraps up. In the review part after the episode, I will make sure to talk and kind of reflect on the whole journey still that we went through, and all my thoughts about it. So stay tuned for that as well, and just watch the full video, please. But guys, for now, I wanna thank you all for joining me here on, like I said, the journey that Death Note was, and we're just gonna dive into the episode reaction for the very last one, A New World. Here we go. So are we just gonna see Light laughing his ass off as nobody dies somehow? Sure, do it all over again. Here we go. Idiot. Oh, come on. These they just did it twice. I can't believe this, dude. They didn't die. I told you, dude. Shit. Oh my god. Idiot. He even directly addressed Light as God. Yep, Light's name's not on there. Yep, that, I mean, yeah. So what did Nia do to make this happen? Oh, cool. Dude, he's trapped. He's like panicked. We never see that. How did he tamper with it? How did he find the real one? Oh shit. Yep. What? But how? It's still not explained. Oh my god. Oh shit, man. Matsuda. I feel so bad for him. Oh, he really wants to make a run for it now? There's no way he can go. This is so unreal. Tampered with the fake one. Ah, okay. Wow. He can see Ryuk. Yeah, that means it is the real one. Could Teru not just scream his name now and then... And then Light still has a piece of paper with him? What? Oh. Yeah, he went there, right? He went to check it. That's what I was wondering why we didn't even see that. Yeah.
Yagami,
あなたは自分でも切り離したノートで高田を殺していたため、三上が勝手に動いたことに気づけなかった。私たちはまんまとあなたの思惑にはまり、店のノートに細工し、外見、中身ともそっくりに。 Wow.
He can see Ryuk. Oh, that's how he figured that out. Yeah, because Nia did always know that, like, at least Nia knew that that Mello would still be involved. He was prepared for those kinds of events. Ah, okay. They did, man. I mean, he can't. He already made a fool of himself. Here we go. Okay, the crawl space moment. It was just him admitting to it. But then what does that mean for the end of the show? Exactly.
新世界の神今の世界ではキラが法でありキラが秩序を守っている世界の人間の希望殺すか本当にそれでいいのか
And what would that mean for themselves? Because the whole world would hate them.
戦争はなくなり世界の犯罪は
Ooh, that's a good point.
腐った人間が多すぎる
Wow, is he like asking them to just let him? That was his motivation all along. Keep showing the fan. Wow.
そしてこのノートは史上最悪の殺人兵器です。神になろうなどと勘違いしているクレイジーな大量殺人犯。何者でもありません。
See, I would not fully agree with that either. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle myself, but I see their perspectives, of course.
言ってもわからぬバカばかり
What now? Is he still waiting for them to die somehow? Is that all that he's doing here? Buying himself time?
今お前が持ってるノートそして相沢が日本捜査本部から持ってきたノート本物か本物のありかは僕しか知らない
Oh god, he's still going to win.
相沢の持つノートを試す意味でもノートが本物か
That's what I was saying. He has his own piece still, right? Dude, this is literally what I was saying. Oh no, wow, they're trying to shoot him before he writes. Damn, Matsuda, man. He's gonna write with his blood. I have no idea. Oh, he feels so betrayed. Oh. Wow. That's exactly what I was saying he would do. Holy shit. Oh my god. I kind of thought that would happen. I think we're just gonna see him in the Shinigami realm. Oh shit, he didn't. I mean, he seems plenty damaged already, to be fair. Mikami seeing his god die right in front of his eyes.
終わりましたね。
はい。
What the fuck? What? What is even happening? Is he doing this? Is it a distraction? Because they're all looking the other way. Oh, dude. Oh my god, what an episode. He's making a run for it still. Oh shit.
ノートももう隠し持ってはいないでしょうし、あの傷ではどうせ遠くへも行けない。放っておいても身動きは止まります。
Wow. What does he want to do? Is he overthinking it all? Yeah. I mean, these seem to just be like his old days back in school and stuff, right? Like this is where I used to walk. Wow.
お前の負けだ、ライト。最初に言ったよな。お前が死んだ時、俺がお前の名前を
Is Ryu gonna be the one?
ことになると。ここで死ね。結構長い間。 互いの退屈しのぎになったじゃないか。
Ease each other's boredom.
面白かったぜ。
Damn. Misa still dressing up the same way. Oh shit. Wow. I'm still trying to figure out what did Teru actually do to himself there in the moment. I couldn't really make it out. Suddenly he was bleeding. Misa, what are you doing? Why are you standing right on the edge there? Oh, that can't be good. Unless I'm just interpreting it all wrong. But it could be with a whole reason to live gone. Wow, L. The slow motion eye close. They're not gonna explicitly tell us what Misa was doing there. I guess it's up to our own interpretation. Wow. Guys, that was it. Let's go to the review. Damn, man, that was beautiful. I think something that a lot of my favorite episodes in this show had in common is that they portrayed all these events as very like emotional, and they use slow motion a lot, right? And it's just kind of it's not the way I'm used to it. Like, it's not necessarily even super explicit. Like, the ending in itself is actually more, I don't know if vague is the right word, but like they leave a lot of things sort of open for interpretation, and they don't fully, it's not like, as I had kind of expected with the title being called New World, like, okay, they're actually going to show you then what the world looks like now post-Kira or something. They don't do that, and they don't need to do it either. That's the thing, and it's definitely something that I realized now. In advance, I automatically start thinking about, okay, how are they going to wrap up all the storylines for the characters? So I'm especially, of course, thinking about Light, and I'm thinking about Misa, and I'm thinking about Ryuk and maybe somebody like Matsuda. I think actually Matsuda, to me, Matsuda had the real I don't know, in a way, kind of almost my favorite outcome or something, where I just liked getting that moment when Matsuda realizes, him being betrayed, and he's the one to actually shoot Light there in the moment. And of course, he's not responsible for killing him or something, but still, it was his time to shine for once. And I think that was, for me, that was great to see, because it's something that I didn't really saw coming necessarily, as Matsuda was always just kind of like I said, always kind of the punching bag, right? And he did have that one episode for himself, but still, it was just an unexpected moment in general. But again, something like the I guess Misa's ending is up to interpretation, but still it's heavily implied, I guess, that like the reason she's standing there on top of the rooftop is obviously, I would think, to just go kill herself. And it makes a lot of sense because, like, we knew that she was just infatuated with Light. And so if Light's no longer there, then she no longer has a reason to live. That's how she would feel about it. Although I guess, again, by them not actually showing it to you, there would still be a possibility for her to have not done it and to just be taking a weird moment for herself. But again, I mean, who would stand on a tower like that, even past the railing or whatever, right? Like, you just, you wouldn't do that for no reason. I mean, again, unless she had some type of moment of, like, realizing that what she was doing was not exactly smart, but whatever. Like, yeah. Oh my god. I mean, I have honestly so many things to say, and I don't know how to say them really. But Light, I always did think, and I said it so many times, I feel, during my reactions, we would see him in the Shinigami realm, and we don't. And again, it's not necessary or something. I mean, I don't know where you could really go with that either. All of that stuff, we know already that it's going to happen. Like, somebody who uses the Death Note can not go to either hell nor heaven. They always go to the Shinigami realm. They said that already. So, of course, you could show it to us, but we know it. And what are you going to show then with him being there? I mean, what I'd be wondering about then is like, okay, so what? Is he going to continue actually hanging out there with Ryuk himself? And like some of the other users of the Death Note, because somebody like Teru and Kiyomi, I assume, would be there then too. And what are they going to be looking like? Are they going to be looking differently? How is that going to work? It's those kinds of things that, like, yeah, they could have addressed. They didn't do it. I'm not disappointed by that or something. I'm just a little bit surprised because, again, in advance, I hadn't really thought that it would be this much of a an open to interpretation type ending, and not even necessarily that, but just it feels like they could have still gone a stage further with it, but they just decided not to do it. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, overall, it was a great episode. I love that the way they put it all together, the music choices that they had, the final 5 minutes, Light dying there on the staircase and seeing that sort of vision of L, running wounded past the fence and kind of thinking about his old life before, I guess, he had the Death Note, right? And thinking about how differently, I guess, it was, like what his life was like before all of this occurred. Man, it's been such a fantastic journey in general. And I don't know what else I can say about it. Again, the only thing that I can really still do is just kind of reflecting on the whole journey, because Death Note, I mentioned it, of course, in my reaction for the very first episode, but it was a show that was recommended to me right after coming off of Attack on Titan, which was my entry point into anime, and immediately such an amazing journey that I went on that it was like, okay, now I'm starting Death Note, my basically like second anime reaction series. What is that going to be like? Well, actually, I think it was my third one because I started Demon Slayer already at the time too, but kind of in a similar vein as Attack on Titan, being more story driven. How is it going to compare to it and stuff, right? I didn't expect it to be replacing Attack on Titan, or that there could be a show that even could do that, or like I didn't even know if I was going to like this then as much, because I just came off something so incredible. But what I loved about about Death Note is that it was just its own thing again. And I really just, I mean, that's the beauty of all of these shows, and I'm starting to realize it as I'm watching even more anime. Even right now with like Vinland Saga and things like that, they all have their own stories, their own characters, and they're all so great in their own right. And Death Note, it started off immediately on a great note. I think the first couple episodes were definitely some of the highlights immediately, right? I mean, getting to understand Light and his sense of justice, what type of character he was. Maybe that's one thing I could still bring up. It's a conversation Light had with Nia, actually in this episode, where Nia calls him just a serial killer, just basically how do I put that? Like a mass murderer, psychopath or something, right? And I don't think that's necessarily true either. I mean, we've been able to dive into Light's head, his state of mind, and I was never on board with Light. I said that from day one that I started watching it. I can't really agree with him taking on that role of God. Who are you to be playing God, right? I understand you want to create a better world, and in some ways you might have. So this is the part where I don't agree with Nier. It's like, I do look at what Light said, and him talking about how, well, look at the world. Look how much crime has been reduced. Look how the world actually agrees with me. That's for a reason, right? And he's absolutely on point there. Where for me, it's like I draw my own questions, and where I sort of draw a line is the idea that he is allowed to play God in the first place, no matter what the outcome of it might be. Because again, it is still very much a gray area, right? And so I always try to kind of, meet in the middle, and I was never fully Team Light, just as I was never fully Team Nier or Team L either. And so with the way that Nier had that final speech, still I found myself somewhat being in the middle there. Although I do think that Light, in a way, I mean, he deserved death ultimately, and he deserved for the Death Note to be taken away from him. Just as I do think Nier deserved, actually, and L honestly too, they deserved to live. And they deserved, and L of course didn't get that, unfortunately, but Nier did. And they deserved for the world to go back to normal. So yeah, it's strange, but again, I was talking about sort of the journey, right, all in all, and what it was like watching those first couple episodes, how much I immediately was into it, and it was for me a bit of a weird thing because I had already seen the first couple episodes of Death Note a very long time ago, and it turned out to be so differently from how I had sort of remembered it. I'm gonna take a quick sip of water here. But yeah, like Ryuk, who actually, if there's one thing I didn't like, is that he didn't play as big of a role anymore in the last couple episodes, it seemed. Same kind of counted for Misa. She still had her moments, but Ryuk, I had remembered him from those first couple episodes, watching it 10 years ago, that like I didn't like his character, and I thought he was so over the top and weird, and I was very hesitant, resistant towards weirdness, and anime can kind of be full of weirdness, right, in some type of way. But then watching him now, he almost instantly turned into my favorite character, because he was the one not giving a shit and just, watching the show just like me as a viewer type of experience, and having a laugh over it. And, kind of just being there in his own self-interest, wanting to eat as many apples as possible. Yeah, L was a great character, of course, and it definitely did not... The show in general did not turn out the way I thought. I do ask myself kind of the question, like, okay, why did they decide to kill L at that episode 25 point? And then now we get this final stretch with different characters, with Mello and Nia suddenly coming into play. It felt a little bit weird just looking at, again, how much time is being spent on these portions. But then, and I brought it up last episode already, I heard that in the manga it's much better divided. And so I wonder if that would make a little bit more sense. Now, of course, we still did revisit L. We sort of had these nice in memoriam moments of L still throughout the last part here, even in this episode, seeing him brought up, and then Light literally looking at him as he's dying. So all those things were still great to see. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, it's like those early episodes, they immediately got me into it. I do think that a big part of the show then also, it was just kind of like understanding the characters' plans that they constantly had, right? I mean, they constantly tried to put you in the state of mind of the characters you were following, and trying to see how good they were at thinking ahead, and trying, for me then, that was the challenge for me, to be able to actually watch along with it while understanding what's going on. I was a little bit, like, there were times for sure where I didn't feel like I had a clue whatsoever. And it's interesting because here in the last stretch, I felt like I was catching on to it more and more, actually. And so when they took a good 5 or 10 minutes to explain what the plan was all along last episode, I was a bit surprised by that, because I was like, I mean, tell me something I don't know already. You know what I mean? Like, before they had told me stuff where I'm like, oh, of course, that's how it worked. And then now it was like, I actually caught on to that. And I don't know if that's just me actually having gained experience by watching the show, or if if others had a similar experience. I mean, all in all, again, I thought it's interesting because I hear a lot of people talk about how they thought that the second part wasn't as good as the first part, which is, of course, everything up until Elle's death. I don't necessarily agree with that, I will say. Watching it now for the first time, I thought that the second part, they kept up the pace, and it was still interesting, and I liked, the introduction of Near and Mello. And of course, it was a little strange, because to me, it feels like with only spending about 12 episodes with those characters, okay, why wouldn't you have just continued the story with Elle and just leave it at that? Come up with some type of conclusion that makes sense involving Elle still, where you didn't have to use Near and Mello instead of him. They could have still been part of it, but with Elle alive or something, right? But again, I feel like you have to look at the manga, and that's just the part that I'm oblivious to. I don't understand what the manga is like, and so there would probably be some clear differences, and it would make a lot more sense that way. So, guys, like I said, I think I've really touched on everything that I wanted to say here for this review of Death Note. What an amazing show it was. I want to thank you all for having recommended it to me. I hope you all enjoyed my reactions to it, of course. Make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell, as I'll be watching a bunch more, anime in the future. So there's still lots to look forward to. I know Death Note was kind of like, it always was one of the most popular anime, but it's also very old compared to a lot of the animes people talk about. I think this came out in 2006 or 7 or something, right? So it's been a while since it's been out. I can't imagine, it must have been a really big deal back when it came out, and like so popular and talked about and stuff, right? And now I'm jumping into it 15 years later, but it's still just as great. It holds up. I think that's actually one of the great things about anime, is that because of that art style, it will continue to hold up for so long. Whereas if you would watch a movie or play a certain game and you see how much technology has, of course, advanced over the years, sometimes it's hard to play an old game for me. And it's not hard to watch an old anime, because this is just as good as the animes I'm watching right now. So it has been a fantastic journey. And again, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want to thank you all for having been here on the journey with me, for leaving your thoughts and comments, for helping me out along the way. I hope that you've enjoyed my reactions as well. Sometimes I could definitely second guess myself, or I'd be like, shit, did I not? I always hate it when I don't have sort of control over the situation, and if there's something that I might not have caught on to, and I already know that like people are going to be commenting like, dude, you totally missed this part or something like that. That's the thing I fear the most. I think I did a relatively good job with the show, though, of catching on to most of it. So all in all, I really enjoyed my time with watching Death Note. Guys, I want to thank you all for tuning in, and I very much look forward to hopefully seeing you back on the channel in the future. Thanks for watching.